So when I'm not doing this cutthroat competitive storytelling life, I work a day job as a doctor, and I love being in the ICU. It's my favorite place, just because like you never know what's gonna come in. And so one day we get into work. I'm working the night shift. It's like 8 o'clock, and we get a call from this like podunk hospital in the burbs in Delaware, and they're telling us that they're gonna chopper over a patient that they just can't figure out, and he's like getting worse and worse and worse. I'm like, all right. And I got on the phone with the doctor who's taking care of him over there, and they're like, yeah, 22-year-old kid, came from like a pretty good family, just can't breathe. We don't know what's going on. He's got a tube in, a breathing tube. And like, I just don't know. But something weird is that like, he told me that he had a secret right before he went under. And I was like, all right, that's stupid. Um, and so he lands and we kind of like get a breath of like what's going on. And like the moment he comes in, I realize, things are going like pretty downhill for him. And before my attending, my boss even comes in. I have him in this prone bed, which is what we do when people really can't breathe. So we just like turn them upside down because there's this idea that you might breathe better. So you're in this like space age bed that's hanging you upside down in the ICU. And my attending comes in and he asks me like, oh, so what's going on? I was like, well, this guy's got some respiratory failure. I don't know what's going on, but apparently there was some like weird secret that was going to be the whole clue to all of this. And he's like, all right, we should like try to figure that out. I'm like, I'm going to tell you what the secret is right now. And he's like, you already know? And I'm like, yes, he does crack. And he's like, how do you know? Well, the drug test doesn't lie. It's like, what, they didn't do a drug test over there? It's like, I don't think so. Little podunk hospital, they probably thought this kid was like totally clean. And my attending's like, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. All right, whatever. So the day goes on, and he's starting to keep getting worse because like when you're like doing this bad, like you're gonna do even worse. And finally, we have to start doing something called ECMO on him. And ECMO is magic, I think. What it is we take all of your blood out, we pump oxygen into it, and then we put it right back into you all at once, all the time. And it's like space age technology, and you look like you're connected to like all the tubes in the world. And it's really cool. You actually don't have to be breathing when you're doing it. And some people are awake. So I can hold your nose and you'll keep breathing. And now we're like continuing to examine him. My attending's like sees, we've set this up and he's not impressed. And he's like, so we figured the secret out. I'm like, dude, it's freaking crack. Like, stop getting on my case. And he's like, no, you're getting it wrong. You're getting it wrong. And now like the night keeps going. He keeps getting even worse. He's doing okay on ECMO, but just like not improving at all. And finally I start like doing some little digging, doing here and that. And it comes across to me that like all of his like blood tests keep like coagulating, like clotting up really hard. So I go into like the pathology lab itself, look under it, and I'm like, this guy might have this like really weird disorder where you just have like so much cholesterol running through your blood that it's like unheard of, So like 200 times what normal is, and that could actually kind of do this. So I go back and we set this guy up with even more tubes, and now we're like taking the rest of his blood out and like fishing this cholesterol out and putting back in, like even more space age stuff. My attending comes back again and he sees this and he's like, it's not that impressive, but did you figure out the secret? I'm like, dude, it's still crack. Like, it's going to keep being crack. And he's like, no. You're like, stop being such a pessimist. It's not crack. Finally, like, 3 days later of doing this stuff to him all the time, this guy is like hooked up to like everything in the world. It's like, we're using literally all the technology we've figured out in the hospital to keep this guy like alive. He starts to make a turnaround. And the entire time, instead of hearing like good things about him, all I keep hearing from like the entire staff, my intern, my nurses, they're all like, I wonder what his secret is. I wonder what his secret is. And I keep telling them, it's freaking crack, people. Like, stop getting hung up on all this. And then finally, about a week later, he's getting better. We've started to take him off of these machines. And it's actually pretty cool because most people don't come out of like these kind of like acute states. And he starts to come out of it, and we extubate him. And like I couldn't believe it. The first thing anybody asked him was my attending, and he's like, yeah, so the hospital that transferred you over, they said you had some kind of like secret. And what exactly was it? And I shit you not, he just stares right up at him, and he's like, I smoke crack. And like the look I gave my attending was like, see, bitch, I know what I'm doing. And the next day he sees me and he's like looking a little dejected, and he's like, Zeeshan, you're just too cynical. You just don't believe in any magic anymore. And I'm like, Are you kidding me? We're in North Philly. It's always crack. That's always the answer. Thank you.